Morning. I had prayed for not a whole lot of people to be here today. And as usual, God does his thing, and mine's usually the opposite of what he wants. And I see so many people here, and I'm excited. Pray for me. I'm a little nervous. The last time I spoke at Crossway, there were, I think it was 8 people in a pew at Luna Church. It was at the Farmers Branch Church. I think it was my sister and Joji, and I think it was Matt's family that were all in one row. And I was, talking, and then for about 8 years, I ran the opposite way. I was Jonah, trying to avoid coming back up here and talking. It's funny, I ran so far away. It's funny that the earth is a globe. I ran so far the opposite way, I came back around, and again, I end up here. Because God has a timing and a purpose for everything. So with that, I want to share today persistent, humble faith and its power in your life, okay? Persistent, humble faith. In 2024, me and my family went on a trip to Cancun with a group of family friends that we all are pretty close with, right? And 4 of the families went on American Airlines, and I had decided I want to save about $15, $20, and instead of going on American Airlines, I decided to go on Spirit Airlines, or I call it Evil Spirit Airlines. When we got to the airport, there was a line of about 500 people. Not like a typical long line. There was something going on that day. When we got there, me and the kids, we were all standing in line with Sheeb, and we were like, this line is ridiculous. What is going on? It happened to be that was the weekend. I don't know if y'all remember CrowdStrike, the software that was working with the airline company happened to go down, and it caused all kinds of disruption in travel. It didn't impact American Airlines for whatever reason, but it obviously hit Spirit Airlines, with a vengeance. So we're standing there in line, and as we're inching forward, the time we got there 3 hours early. It's an international flight that we're going. We thought we were way ahead of schedule. We get there, and every 30 minutes to an hour, we're seeing a Spirit Airlines employee walking up and down the line saying, "Calm down, it's going to be okay, everybody just stay here and wait, we're going to get you on the plane. It's just something's going on with the system, blah, blah, blah." And so our friends are already getting on their flight on American Airlines, and the entire time we're standing in line, me and my wife are standing there, my kids are constantly asking, "Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? I really want to go. I want to go. Please, I'm worried. There's just so many people here. Are we going to make it? Are we going to?" And every time we'd inch, it would be every 10 minutes. And then it started getting to every 5 minutes. And over, they would ask and ask, constantly concerned. It happened to be my son's birthday, his 9th birthday, that same weekend. So we were going to celebrate that in Cancun with all of his friends. And so there was a lot riding on this. And we started to notice that the airline folks were saying, "Guys, don't worry, you're not going to miss your flight. It's going to be okay." Me and Sheeb were getting closer to the front, and all of a sudden we get a text from our friends that say, "It shows that your flight left," right? And we look and we see, and the airline folks are lying to everybody in the line, and the flight is gone, right? And what we start to hear is all the next day, those flights that are coming in after it, and all the flights for the next day or two are all being booked up by these people that are in this line way ahead of us. So me and Sheeb tell the kids, "Guys, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't think we're going to make it. I don't think we're going to be able to go on this trip." My kids didn't cry. My kids didn't start to whine. They didn't start to throw a temper tantrum. They didn't start to yell and scream and cause a scene. What they did was they looked up at me and Sheep, and rivers of tears are flowing. And I'm not talking about just small, I'm talking about silent tears were just flowing from their face. And me and Sheep looked at each other and said, we are going to find a way to get there. One way or another, we are going to get there. So what do? We start looking on our Southwest app. We find out there's a flight leaving Austin, Texas, 3 hours away the next day. We are when I saw that, when I saw how it impacted my kids, I said, I cannot let this go. I could easily go back to home and just say, kids, I'm sorry, this sucks. It just happens. What happens, and it's over. But there was something as a father that I could not let them go. I could not let them down. Me and Sheep drive down to Austin. We get a hotel for the night. We have an early morning flight the next night. We fly from Austin to Cancun. It was the greatest celebration. When we landed, the friends that were waiting in Cancun had no idea we were going to make it. We show up and we had the greatest time. How much more our Heavenly Father, when He sees your persistence throughout the line of your life, when you are waiting for things to happen in your life, and things aren't answering the way you wanted to, and things aren't progressing the way you anticipated it to, but He sees your tears. He sees what you're dealing with. He sees what you're going through. He will not forget you. Guys, I want to talk to you because whatever's going on here this past week, this has been a resounding theme that I keep coming across with this church today, that there are people here who need to hear this. Stay persistent. Do not give up. He hears you. Remain humble. Okay? I want you to open up your Bibles to Matthew chapter 15. Matthew chapter 15. Most of our time today is going to be spent in verses 21 to 28. But you cannot understand 21 to 28 unless you understand 1 through 20. So right now, everybody has their Bible, and you have it open, and you have to whatever the passage I just told you about, Matthew 15, 21. I want you to trace up the passage, meaning start going in reverse on the passage. Go and rewind and see where the scene actually begins, okay? Keep going back. If you start going back from 21, you start seeing the red letters, that's what Jesus is saying. The black letters is what the author is writing. So you keep going back. You see in verse 15, Peter said, keep going back. Go all the way back to 15:1. What does that say? Then some Pharisees and teachers of the law came to Jesus from Jerusalem and asked, is that the beginning of this scene? Yes or no? Look at the way the passage started. Then some Pharisees and teachers of the law came to Jesus. Is that the beginning of this passage? Trace it back up even further. What else? Let's keep going back. Go to 34, verse 14. When they had crossed over, they landed at Gennesaret. And when the men of that place recognized Jesus, they sent word to all the surrounding country. People brought all their sick to them and begged him to let the sick just touch the edge of his cloak. And all who touched him were healed. Verse 15:1. Then some Pharisees. So tell me, what's the setting? Jesus gets off a boat. What happened right before this? Peter had walked on water. There was a big storm. Peter had walked on water. Then he took his eyes off of Jesus, looks at the water, falls into the thing. Jesus says, oh, you have little faith. Gets him back into the boat. They cross over, land at Gennesaret. They land at Gennesaret, and they see all these people. People hear that Jesus is coming. What happens? They start bringing all sick people to him. And people start grabbing a hold of his garment. And when they touch him, they're being healed. And it's in this climate that you see Pharisees coming to him and have a question for him. What is the question that he asks? What is the question that they ask to him? Why do your disciples break through the tradition of the elders? They don't wash their hands before they eat. Do you see I want you to understand the question is, you guys don't eat. I mean, I agree, we should all wash our hands before we eat. Sometimes maybe I don't know, maybe I should a little bit more. But we should all, the issue isn't, hey, this guy is healing people. People are touching his garment and he's being healed. Or lame people are walking, or blind people are seeing, or deaf people are hearing. No, that's not the question that they're coming up with. What's the question they're asking? Why are your disciples not washing their hands before they eat? We're going to fast forward through this, verses 3 to 9, if you take some time to read it when you get home. Jesus gives a harsh rebuke to them. right? He basically speaks back at them. And anyone that doesn't know, the Pharisees are like a very conservative religious movement that is trying to get Israel to come back to Jesus by following the laws very rigidly, okay? And so what we're seeing here is Jesus gets upset with these religious leaders, right? Then what do we see? Jesus says something that's very important. Verse 10. Jesus called the crowd to him, the same crowd that had been grabbing onto his garments and being healed, said to them, listen and understand. What goes into a man's mouth is not what makes him unclean, but what comes out of his mouth is what makes him unclean. What does that mean, right? Well, he'll answer that in a bit. Verse 12. Listen to this. Verse 12. Then the disciples came to him and asked, do you know that the Pharisees were offended when they heard this? What are the disciples concerned? Who are the disciples concerned here? Of the Pharisees. What were the Pharisees concerned about the disciples? They're not washing their hands, right? The disciples are not being clean. That's right. Jesus rebukes the Pharisees, and in response, the disciples seem to have the Pharisees back. They're saying to him, Jesus, you know you offended these Pharisees? The people that were accusing us of not being clean, you're offending them, right? From there, Jesus goes and explains exactly what he meant in the earlier verse, verse 17. Don't you see that whatever enters the mouth goes into the stomach and then out of the body? But the things that come out of the mouth come from the heart, and these are what make a man unclean. For out of the heart comes evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false testimony, slander. These are what make a man unclean. But eating with unwashed hands does not make him unclean. Okay, now you know the setting. All right? From here, verse 21, we get into our passage. Leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. Anybody know how far Tyre and Sidon is from where they just landed? It's about a 12-hour walk, according to Copilot or whatever. Okay, so it's somewhere not too far away. Okay, it's a long walk, but it's a doable walk. Okay, and then verse 22, a Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him crying out. Guys, Matthew's gospel was written to Jewish people who were looking for the Messiah and had not recognized who Jesus was. Matthew is purposely using the word Canaanite. Anybody know the history about the Canaanites and the Israelites? Canaanites were another group of people that waged war against the Israelites. They had a religion that sacrificed infants to their god. They had like this very bloody religion where they would put their child on a bronze statue that was heated up extremely hot, and they would lay an infant on it, and it would cry, and people would be dancing around this sacrifice and trying to drown out the scream of the baby by being louder, by singing louder, and so this is the kind of religion that these Canaanite people had practiced. It was a religion that was opposite from what anything that we could recognize here, right? Matthew is saying she's a Canaanite woman. It's a person with that kind of background, that kind of religious background, that kind of culture, that kind of situation. It is a person that has that kind of historical issue that when you hear Canaanite and you're a Jewish person, you're automatically going to say, oh, they're despised, they're opposite of us, they practice wicked things, right? I want you to look at what this woman says. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying out, Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. How did she know? How did she know who this man was? How? Remember when they landed at Gennesaret? What did all the men do? Go back to chapter 14, verse 34 and 35. What happened in verse 35 of chapter 14? Say it. Jesus was healing people, but how did she know in Tyre and Sidon what was happening in Gennesaret? Say it again. People went to the surrounding areas and started telling them about who Jesus was. It was because of this excitement that was happening in 14. They were running around telling people 10, 15, 20 miles away, hey, this guy is here. There's crazy stuff happening here. You got to find him. I hear he's this like king. He's maybe this. So she's hearing this, right? But here's the difference. She believes it. This Canaanite woman actually believes it. And when Jesus comes to her town, she finds him and says, Lord, Son of David. What is Lord? Kurios. What does that word mean? She is putting him as master over her life. This is her first interaction with him. And the disciples, did they call him Lord at the beginning? What did they used to call him? Master, rabbi, teacher. Her first interaction with him is Lord. Second thing she says is Son of David. What does Son of David refer to? It's his kingly authority. There was a promise of a Messiah back in the Old Testament. She is acknowledging, not only is she Lord, but you're the promised king that we have been waiting for, that the Jews have been waiting for, not us. I'm a Canaanite. But I have been waiting. I am calling you that Son of David. I'm calling you the title that other people. Do you know there's only 2 times in the entire Gospels, this woman and 2 blind men calling it that phrase, Lord, Son of David. Some people call him Son of David, and that's it. Some people call him Lord, and that's it. Only twice in the Bible do we see people calling Jesus Lord, Son of David. Okay. Now, what is her issue? My daughter is suffering terribly from demon possession. The situation at her home has driven her to get to find the only solution, the only answer that's possible. I want you to look at this, guys. What does Jesus do? Jesus in verse 23. Jesus did not answer a word. Silence. You know, in 2005, my father was diagnosed with multiple system atrophy, right? And it's this neurological disease. It was brutal. Me and my sister, my family, we prayed for him so much. And so often we would not hear anything. So often it would be quiet and silent, and we would not get the response that we wanted. How many of you have been praying and asking for God for something, and sometimes you just feel like he is silent? Why are you not speaking to me? Why can I not hear you? Why can I not get an answer from you? So many times in our life we struggle with silence, the silence of God. Can I tell you something that I feel like is for someone here today? Though he is silent, he is always listening. Though he is silent, he is listening. Second, though he is silent, he is always at work. Though he is silent, he is still working on your behalf. You may not hear him today. You may not hear the answers you want to hear. But I'm telling you, he is hearing your prayer. He is seeing your tears. He is seeing you cry. And he is at work in the background of your life. You have no idea how he's operating in the background. He is knitting a beautiful story for your life. You just have to push through the fact that you might not get the answer. As Anand said, you may not get the answer you want, but you will get the answer you need. If silence is the answer you need, that is the answer that you need at that moment. Guys, second, we see that the silence opens up a door for another group to reveal their heart. Okay? Jesus did not answer a word. And so his disciples came to him and urged him. What did they say? Send her away, for she keeps crying out after us. In the last in the last passage, what happened? The Pharisees were saying, your disciples don't wash their hands before they eat. What was the disciples' response to the Pharisees? Concern. They were concerned about what the Pharisees were doing. This is a woman that's not bothering the disciples at all. She is calling out, saying, I need your help, Jesus. And what is the disciples' response? Get her away from here. Get her away from us. Whose heart is Jesus trying to reveal in this situation? How many of y'all have ever heard, man, God is testing your faith? Has anyone heard that before? Raise your hand if you've heard, hey, I hear God always saying he's testing your faith. He's just testing your faith. When I take a test, when you take a test, what is the purpose of a test? Anybody know? The purpose of a test is to reveal to the instructor that you have comprehended the concepts and you've mastered them. Meaning, if I need to learn, if it's algebra, Tony's a math guy, solve for x. That's the thing the teacher wants to see in algebra. Can you solve for x? I'll give you all these different problems, all these different the ways of writing, all the different 2x plus what. You'll do every kind of way possible. But the goal is to solve for x. The teacher needs to see if Tony can do it. So the test is the way that she knows, or he knows, that Tony can master math. There's a limitation on the teacher's knowledge of the student. So the test is the way that you reveal if the student has mastered the concept or not. Is everybody following? Here's the problem. Jesus is asking the question. And if Jesus is asking the question, what does he have that our earthly teachers don't have? He knows everything. All right, so now there's a test. In a math class, there's a test. You take it to see if the teacher wants to see if you understand the concept. But with Jesus, he already knows what you know, and he already knows what you think, and he already knows what you feel like. He already knows how you're going to respond. He already knows how you're going to act. So then what's the point of the test? It's not for Jesus to find out if you have it or not. He wants to reveal your faith for two things. For yourself and for the people around you. He has to draw this faith out. How does it happen? Through struggle, through pain, through hurt, through suffering. You will see that in the toughest of times, when my father was diagnosed with that disease, they gave my father, I think, 18 months to 24 months to live. It was through a process of events, through that situation, that I'm now standing here and speaking to you. You have no idea that the struggle and the pain is what brings you closer to him. You have no idea that he is trying to reveal something to you and reveal something to other people. Through your pain, through your struggle. Jesus' response to her. Here we go next. He answered, I was only sent to the lost sheep of Israel. We keep going back and forth. The woman came and knelt before him. Lord, help me. What was Jesus' response to the woman? Anybody catch it? Did he respond to the woman? Look at it. Who is he responding to? He is not responding to the woman. Who is he talking to? The disciples are urging him to send this person away. So there's a woman's here, the disciples here, Jesus here. This woman's asking for help. They're saying, send her away. He is responding to them, saying, I was sent to the lost sheep of Israel. She's hearing this. What is her response to this? Block after block. Silence. Now I'm not sent to the Canaanite people. I'm not sent there. What is her response? The woman came and knelt before him. It drew her closer. It drew her closer and made her more humble. He's saying, I wasn't sent to this to save these Canaanite people. What was her response? I need to get closer to you. I need to get more humble before you. And she says, Lord, help me. Verse 26, he replied, check this out. It is not right to take the children's bread and toss it to the dogs. You feel like that's disrespectful? You feel like that's rude? You feel like that's messed up? He doesn't want to heal this Gentile woman. He doesn't want to go back to 14. How many people, what kind of people were around him? Everybody from the region was there. It wasn't just Jews that were there. It was everybody that was there. Don't tell me that in chapter 14, Gentile people weren't grabbing a hold of him and they're getting healed too. Everyone was getting healed that was touching. So why in 14 was he willing to do it? But now in 15, he's saying this. What did I tell you before? There's two reasons why. He's drawing something out of her and he's trying to reveal something to you, the disciples, about who she is. This woman that's coming from a totally different background has a deeper, more humble, more persistent faith than the disciples who have been following, who just finished walking on water, who just saw all these people getting healed, who are all of a sudden swayed by religious authority. This woman has a heart that Jesus can work with. Her response, yes, Lord. But even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. Yes, Lord. But even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. Guys, there was a woman in 1952. Her name was Florence Chadwick. She was a long-distance marathon swimmer. She swam the English Channel. She swam different down the Mississippi. She did all kinds of crazy swims, and she took on this task of swimming from Catalina Island to the coast of California. It was a 22-mile swim. 22 miles. It's a lot. And she had never failed in any of her attempts before. But on this day, she swam, and she got in the water. The water was cold. Not foreign to her. She's used to this kind of temperature. The waves were extremely choppy. There was a lot of resistance that she was facing with the current. Not unusual. She had dealt with that before as well. She swam and swam and swam. She doesn't know it, but at the 21.5-mile mark, she gives up. She says, I can't go any further. She gets on a boat and she finds out it's like a 30-second boat ride to the shore. She had no idea. Why? That day, there happened to be a heavy fog that blocked the shoreline. So she couldn't see how far she was away. And when she couldn't see how far she was away, the doubt started to creep in. Can I do this? How much farther do I have? I don't know if I can go that long. If she had seen, if she had known how close she was, she would have kept going with it. Guys, you guys, whether it's sickness, joblessness, not having a child, all these different things that our church is struggling with, whether it's being broke, not having enough money to take care of your family, all these different things, not knowing what your future is going to look like, arguments between families in the household, strife, all these things, you don't know how much further you can go. Guys, do not give up. Keep pushing. You are so close. Every day you are getting closer and closer. Don't stop. Don't give up. Don't quit. Keep fighting. Keep taking that one more stroke. Get closer and closer and closer. Guys, I want to talk to you about persistent faith that is humble. Can I say something and be very honest with you? We have some of the most educated, the smartest, the best looking. I mean, we have Malayali people, we rule. I mean, everyone here is but you know what we struggle with? Pride. We struggle with pride. We look down on people. We think we're better than others. Persistent faith that is not humble doesn't get you the results that you're looking for. Stay humble before him. I want everybody to close their eyes real quick, and as we wrap up. Jesus' response in 28, woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted. And her daughter was healed that very hour. Great faith isn't about doing great miracles, powerful healings, speaking well. That's not what great faith is about. It's persistent. It doesn't give up. It won't grow weary. He will walk with you through this. You are not alone. But ask yourself at this time, do I struggle with pride? Is there pride in my heart, Lord? Is there pride in my heart, Lord? Search my heart, Lord, and tell me right now, am I struggling with pride? Is it the way I talk to my wife and my kids? Do I show signs of pride because I am disrespectful to them at home? Lord, I lack humility sometimes. There's a story of Saint Monica back in 8354. Her son was a wayward son, a prodigal son. Monica was a prayerful woman. She prayed for her son every single day. She had a cloth that she set aside for her son that would constantly, every night, be soaked in the tears of her prayers, praying for her son to change his life. Monica prayed and prayed and prayed for 17 years. During that time, her son had joined a cult, got into witchcraft, got into all kinds of wicked and evil things, traveled the world. At the age of 31, her son had a drastic conversion. Her son's name, Saint Augustine, one of the early church fathers who wrote so much for our faith. He sees your tears. Don't stop. Stay persistent. Stay humble. He hears you.